for us to even make any progress at this rate, one step at a time. My name is Analyst with 92.3 Nigeria Info, and this is where we have Port Harcourt's biggest conversation.
This is the Morning Crossfire on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Pantami, I like to call it the Pantami Gates this morning, is what we'll be talking about. For some days now, weeks actually, some Nigerians have been saying, Pantami, please resign, please step aside. Besides being a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you also are in charge of ICT and the National Identity Numbers registration going on. The data of Nigerians are with you, and that for us is very disturbing. Why were they calling, or why are they calling for his resignation? They said he made some comments in the past in support of extremist groups. Now, Nigerians have been talking, and some people were waiting and hoping that the presidency will act out of the script, because the script is when you say we don't want something, then they look for a way to make it go away, But the presidency has spoken. On Thursday night, we got a document from Garba Shehu, and he says there is an unfortunate fashion in public discourse that makes leaders in politics, religion, and civil society liable in the present for every statement they've ever made in the past, no matter how long ago, and even after they have later rejected them. So he says there is a cancel campaign instigated by those who seek to remove Dr. Pantami. Now, it was said that he said some of these things 20 years ago, and now they're trying to use that to cancel him today. So he says the minister has apologized for what he said in the early 2000s. The views were absolutely unacceptable then and will be equally unacceptable today were he to repeat them. But he would not repeat them, for he has publicly and permanently condemned his earlier utterances as wrong. Now he's getting to his 50s, and they said, well, he did that in his 20s. People change. People. In fact, there's a way it's written. Let me just get to it. Okay. The time has passed, and people and their opinions often rightly change. So what the presidency is saying, we admit, like he admitted that he made a mistake, or he made those utterances in the past, and now he said, forgive me, it was a mistake. Now I've moved on. I'm no longer that person. And they're saying, on that premise, we must forgive and forget, and let Pantami be a minister, and of course continue doing the ICT work he's doing, contributing his quota to the GDP. Now, I have a guest on the phone, public affairs analyst Achike Chude, and we'll be talking about this. The move by the presidency, does it come as a surprise? Achike Chude, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Eno.
Yeah, so my first question is, does this come to you as a surprise?
No. The exoneration of Pantami by the presidency is not a surprise. Actually, I had expected it. On the basis of the fact that somehow this government has not been able to separate itself from all manners of sundry allegations against principal characters within the government of having some sympathy for some of the people that are, causing violence in the country. Of course, we all know how much the president's stance, has been vilified over time. When he goes to, for instance, Benue State, and he says he has given the Inspector General of Police a marching order to act in certain ways, and then he's surprised that to be told that the Inspector General of Police did not do any of those things, and the president did not move against him, took no action against him. And then, of course, going to Benue State, telling them, look, the Fulani killers are your brothers. Look for ways to accommodate your brothers and all that. There's some sense, in trying, that he's trying to forge some kind of unity between the Fulanis and the people that are being victimized and so on, but not in those words. So people get alarmed when the president makes such statements. Some years back, I think the Punch of April 2nd, 2013, had also talked about President Buhari criticizing Jonathan for his failure on security in the country. That was the responsibility of Jonathan. And then when the Jonathan administration moved against the insurgents, he accused them of killing Muslims, the Jonathan government of killing Muslims and burning their houses and all that, and then giving a better treatment to the South militant and all that. So, what Issa Pantami in a way says or said reflect a bit of the views of the president with regards to the way Boko Haram people have been treated by the Jonathan government and administration. Issa Pantami accuses them of killing, Muslim brothers who are Boko Haram members. Buhari accused the Jonathan government of doing something similar in a way. So when you look at it, what else would you have wanted the presidency to do? I think what people Nigerians expected is that, since the presidency has said that all of these accusations against the president are false and that the president cares so much for this country, Nigerians would have expected that he would do everything in his power to immediately distance himself from Issa Pantami and to let him go as a minister of the Federal Republic. He has not done that. What this has done is to accommodate Issa Pantami and his sentiments on the basis of the fact that the man held these views. They are not refuting the fact that this man held these very dangerous views. Eulogizing Al-Qaeda, eulogizing, Boko Haram, and then exalting the Taliban in their murderous campaigns of terrorism. And that the government says, well, the man has changed. But the reality is, who is in a man's heart? Who can best determine a man's heart except God, who has created such a person?
But we
so
have,
when a man, and they say by their fruits you shall know them, let's just do this. Everything that Issa Pantami said, which he denied, and what was at the initial when this thing came up, he totally denied it. And then it was only when the video and audio evidence of the accusations against him started surfacing that he said, reluctantly agreed that yes, he actually said all of this, but that he was very young. He said he started preaching at 13, but he said those things at age 34. Age 34, you're already a full-grown adult. And so you are fully aware, you had your faculties, you are fully aware of the implications of what you are saying. Now he says that he has changed and all of that. Nobody knows.
Yeah, but if indeed he has changed, do you think that he should be forgiven, or do you think that he should face, the music?
No, I just said by their fruits you shall know them. What does that mean? What it means, that statement simply means is that it is not what a man says. That is the man. It is what he does that is the man. It is not what goes into a man that defies him, but what comes out of a man. So what comes out of a man, we saw it when he was making all those statements as the chief imam of the mosque at Balewa University. And of course, there's speculation that he was driven out of that mosque for his extremist views. But beyond that again, so if that is Ali Pantami, the man who had not changed, the man who was a sympathizer to certain extremist ideologies. Now Ali Pantami, the man who has changed, we have not seen his fruits. Because if it tells us that he has changed, just like the way people provided evidence about what he said when he was holding on to those views, we would have seen video evidences and audio evidences of Ali Pantami, the changed person.
Okay.
After, he had this proper revelation that he was in the right, he now had new knowledge according to him, and he was now a new person.
Okay.
But there's no single video evidence of Ali Pantami, the changed man. But we've had a video evidence and audio evidence of Ali Pantami, the extremist, who held those extremist ideologies.
But some people say perhaps Nigerians are missing the point that they're making it look like what the federal government calls it a cancel culture, but that it's a national issue. It's not a religious issue per se. Neither is it a sectional issue. How would you respond to that?
Well, that's another one. We borrow a lot of things from America, especially the democracy that the presidential system that we have borrowed from America, refusing to practice it the way they practice it. Now we borrow the word cancel culture, no wahala. Now, this is not a partisan issue, this is a Nigerian issue. Because the insecurity that is being faced is being faced in Nigeria and by Nigerians. Muslims have died, Christians have died, unbelievers, atheists have died, animists have died, and all that. So it's a Nigerian issue, it's not a Muslim issue. And I've heard other, media platforms. I've listened to other media platforms, and in most cases, the call for Ali Pantami to resign is coming from across board. Muslims have called in on radio programs and all that, and they're saying this man should go. Christians have done the same thing. Nigerians from all walks of life. Now, the reality is this. Look, they talk about the past, but we acknowledge, just like the presidential spokesman was saying, we acknowledge that the present will not, that the present that we have today will not, it's a product of the past, and the future is a product of the present. So we cannot divorce the past from the present and then the future. So what am I trying to say? Anybody see what is the essence of the screening by the DSS, for instance? What is the essence by the report that they take to the Senate, so that the Senate will also continue with the screening process? And on the basis of that screening process, you ask a man is either qualified to serve in public office or not. What is the thing about? The screening is about the past. So what it means, in thinking, is that when you say screen this person to see if this person is qualified to be appointed a minister of the Federal Republic, you are telling the enforcement agencies, the agencies like the DSS and then the Senate to go back to the past and look at the man's past to see whether there's anything in that past that will make this man unworthy. You understand, to be made a minister. So it is about the past. So the past is very, very important. It's extremely important. So when Shehu Garba comes in and says, no, the man's past is not consequential. Of course, a man's past has consequences on his present and his future. And that's what the whole thing is all about. People have been known in the more established democracies of the world on the basis of things they did in the past. Either that they were sexual predators in the past, either that they had statutory, they were involved in statutory rape of a minor in the past and the rest. And they will tell you to, look, we have changed. But they say, no, but you had this past. Therefore, we cannot trust you with the position we are giving you for public office. So the past is as much important as even the present.
Okay, several questions.
So that argument by Gabashewu is unfortunate, an unfortunate, argument. It does not stand muster anywhere. Okay. It cannot.
Okay, so someone is asking, how different is this from what Ojukwu did during the Civil War?
How different is what?
This action of he is now.
There was a political crisis in the country. There was a political crisis. Ojukwu is one person. One person does not go to war. One person does not embark on secession. It's an entire people. They did not put a gun on anybody's head and say, let us do this.
So hold on. Yeah, I like the way you've said it. He didn't put a gun to anyone's head. Did Pantami put a gun to anyone's head to get into any terrorist group?
Sorry?
Did Pantami put a gun to anyone's head to get into any terrorist group? Because it's really...
No, but he espoused a terrorist. Look, a political situation is different from a terrorist situation. The whole world is fighting terrorism today. What happened in the Southeast, for instance, what happened in South Sudan? The international community came in Sudan. The international community came in and said, these people have a right to agitate for self-independence, for independence. And they organized a plebiscite or referendum. And on the basis of that referendum, Southern Sudan was created. That also happened in Yugoslavia. The political situation. So how can anybody equate, terrorism and the political crisis, that engulfs the nation because people feel that they have been not been treated, right.
Okay, so no, hold on, Achike, let's come to 2021. Someone is asking again, with what Nnamdi Kanu is doing, if next year or the day after tomorrow, he says, I'm no longer pushing for the Biafran movement, would he be said to, he was and now he is? Would it apply?
Would it be what? Would
it apply? He was, now he is.
Look, again, when IPOB was designated a terrorist organization, there was a outcry beyond the southeast to many parts of the country. Even international organizations said IPOB is not a terrorist organization. I'm talking about American based organizations, UK and all that. That IPOB is not a terrorist organization. And IPOB had not shown any tendency, and people were making that argument on their behalf, that they were not carrying guns, that they were not killing people. And they will point and say, show us how many people have been killed by IPOB. So we must be dispassionate in our assessment of the situation. Yes, Nnamdi Kanu was guilty of fiery rhetoric, which I feel was also very dangerous and was not right and was not proper. But there is a political crisis in the country. One cannot justify the statements that he has made, because some of those statements are reckless and irresponsible, as far as I am concerned. But we must be able to separate, to make the right kind of a distinction when we're talking about issues, so that we don't blow what is the situation on ground. This man has been made a minister of the Federal Republic. Nnamdi Kanu was not made, or has not been touted to be made a minister of the Federal Republic. Because it is at such time that people are touting Nnamdi for a minister of the Federal Republic, so that people will come out and say, look at what Nnamdi Kanu has said in the past. So there's no basis for any such comparison right now. Because the government has labeled Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist and has refused to label the headsmen of Fulani headsmen a terrorist organization. And everybody in the world, international organizations in the world have said the Fulani headsmen is a terrorist organization. The Nigerian government has refused to do that. But instead they have said Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist and that the organization that he leads is a terrorist organization. But there's a clear distinction between what the headsmen has been doing, or the Boko Haram has been doing, and what the IPOB has been doing all this while.
Okay.
So this is not about sentiment, it's about facts.
Okay.
People can also Google and also hear the reaction or read the reaction of the world to the designation of IPOB as a terrorist organization, and see whether I'm speaking facts or whether I'm talking out of sentiment.
Okay, so
the facts are there.
Okay, we've also had some religious leaders speak in a way that one would say express extremism. Does it also?
No. When you say so, who? Because if there's any religious leader, for instance, that has said anything, that captured the imagination of Nigerians and had the government reacting in a negative way, it was Hassan Kuka. Read what Hassan Kuka said and see if there's anything, if not to be objective, anything that closely resembles an extremist view.
Okay.
Or he was expressing an opinion that Nigerians are seeing on a daily basis.
Yeah, but
a lot of Nigerians are talking about every day.
My question actually is, does it also bring about the need for religious leaders or leaders in any sphere to mind their utterances because of days like this? I mean, this Issa Pantami gate. Maybe 20 years ago, he was doing his work, something that this made at that time. Then he expressed his views, and whatever it is that he did. But
he was not doing his work. We were told that the authorities sent him out of the the mosque where he was.
Is that punishment enough? Is that punishment enough? When you send him out of the mosque, and you know how religious we can be and how we follow blindly. So he's been talking to people for years. Then you say leave the mosque. But you've done nothing. Because they still have access to him, they wanted to reach out to him.
What they have done, what they did by saying, look, we are not comfortable with the extremist views that he is espousing, and they are not in line with the principles of Islam. And don't forget that there are people that believe, and strongly so, a lot of people believe that Islam is a religion of peace. You understand? So those people, perhaps they were those ones who moved against the man, that this is not the Islam that we know. You understand? We have so many, and there are so many of us that actually believe that there is so much good about Islam. Here in the Southwest, we don't have this kind of extremism that we're seeing. Now, we have a lot of Muslim friends and the rest. So those are the ones, when those ones tell you that Islam is a religion of peace, you have no choice but to agree, because you see them live lives of peace. Peaceful lives every single day, working with people, cooperating with people, and doing things with people. But in some other areas, it is different. So don't forget that even this extremism that we're seeing, there are many parts of the world. Muslims are living at peace with Christians everywhere. But you have there's a greater tendency for people to associate Islam with terrorism. Why? Because there are certain exponents of Islam who, when they do things and they commit atrocities, they commit murders, they say they are doing it in the name of Allah. And the good Muslims are saying you cannot be doing it in the name of Allah, because we also worship the same Allah. To which Allah are you talking about? Yes, so obviously Issa Pantami belonged, and perhaps still belongs, to that extremist set. I mean, look at him eulogizing somebody like Zakawi, who was killed in Iraq. He eulogizes, and exalts the Taliban and the Al-Qaeda that bombed the Twin Tower in the United States, killing over 3,000 people in one day. and then all the other extremist views, and was now exhorting and encouraging Nigerians to carry out, Northern Muslims or Nigerian Muslims to carry out jihad in Nigeria. And all that. These are views. Even if he tells you that he has repented, there is no sign of repentance because, like I said, by their fruits you shall know them. So it is very dangerous. What the government should do is, well, maybe you have repented, but we cannot afford to take the risk of having you, handle a very sensitive, aspect of our national project. That is the national identity card scheme. We have seen instances where we have been told in the past, and I'm not saying that this has to do with Pantami, where a lot of people from other parts of the country, especially the northern part of the country, are holding Nigerian citizenship. And they say that they are Nigerians, but meanwhile they are not Nigerians. These things are dangerous for us as a people. So when you have a man with this past who wants about these views, you cannot be sure.
Okay.
Because, repentance comes from the heart. But not only does it come from the heart, you now have to show it that you have truly repented by what you do. So when the question we now ask, the onus lies with Pantami. We knew you when you were an extremist and when you were espousing extremist ideologies. We saw it, we've seen the evidence. Now that you say you changed from the age of 34, now you realize, so you have had about maybe 20 more years. You have lived for about 20 years or 15 years after you changed. What have been the evidence of that change? Also, let us have videos of you giving speeches in the past where you repudiated the former, your former perception of Islam and then jihad and all that. Let it show us evidence. Then when we see those evidence, we say, okay, yes, it is true. But their fruits we shall know that the man actually changed because he reversed everything he used to say. And this is what he was saying after that. No, I don't think that there's no evidence that he has changed. Otherwise, he would have been the first to show us this video and audio evidence of his change.
Okay, so Achike, do you think that this might in any way affect the fight against terrorism? In any way?
Look, before he died, people insinuated that he was killed. The former chief of the former national security advisor to Jonathan had said, if you remember, he said that Boko Haram elements within government, the government, APC sympathizers who were, with Boko Haram. And we don't forget that some of the reverses we have had in the war against terrorism arose as a result of information that they were getting from high up, from certain, military, from the military echelon. That whenever the military were to be in a particular military division or operation was going to be carried out in a particular place, you will not see terrorists because they have been informed. And some of them run into well-prepared ambush because they knew that the soldiers were coming. So there have been elements, there's no doubt about that, people within the government who sympathize with Boko Haram. That is why this allegation against Pantami is so serious that I don't want to take sides. Now, it should affect now, with the government, we have been told that the government has been carrying out some operations against the financiers of Boko Haram and the rest. So we hope that these actions will come to fruition and that we see a diminution in the ability of these people to also continue to do what they have done, and that's to terrorize Nigerians. And so it is good because if there might be many more Pantamis in government, it's as simple as that. So but the right message will be sent if Mr. Pantami is forced to resign or if he's sacked. That would also send a message to other people who are within the government who are also sympathizers of Boko Haram that their day of reckoning or their day of judgment is coming.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Achike Chude, for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
But some people say that the president himself is sympathetic to Boko Haram. So where does that leave us? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0009. We talk after the commercial. We're Nigerian for Port Harcourt. Stay tuned. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers.
We crossfire in the morning. Crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts. And then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts. And then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts. And then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts. And then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the
Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers.
We crossfire in the morning.
Issa Pantami resigns. Should the government change their mind? Are you embarrassed as a Nigerian that the federal government is standing beside Issa Pantami on this one and saying he's changed? He was just 20 then, now he's going on 50, and people do change. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0009. Or you think that, come on, just let it go. We have bigger problems as a nation. On Twitter, Ben is asking, what exactly made him change his views? Since his supposed repentance, has he ever attacked terrorist ideologies with the same vigor and penchant he used in supporting them? He claimed volte-face on terrorism is totally bunkum. Pantami is being clever by half. Issa Pantami issue is really a sad one. It shows a lack of shame and integrity bedeviling us as a nation. 20 years after Pantami made those terrorist supporting statement, no record of any public statement condemning terrorists. So how do we believe his sudden change? Ihagu Etoke from Ozuoba. Good morning. We're Nigerian Info.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Irene speaking.
You're welcome, Irene. Let's hear you.
To be very candid, this position that Issa Pantami took is one that is very, very bad. Considering the position he's holding, a very sensitive position. In a famous line, like we always say, he should have resigned long before now, at the time this came to the public view. And I am more embarrassed with the fact that Nigerian government, especially this Buhari administration, is trying to be sympathetic and also trying to make excuses for this kind of man, with no public evidence of him repenting or changing from his previous view. Honestly, I don't understand where we are going. But I think there's a very urgent need for him to be removed from that very sensitive position, so that we can make a way forward in the fight against terrorism.
All right. Thank you very much, Irene, for sharing with us. Emmanuel says, which correctional center was the minister taken to? Let him produce the certification to prove he has changed and should be accepted as a new man in society, if any. Who else is there? This is very unfortunate. Pantami must go. How do you just come and say things like that and say someone has changed when he has radicalized and planted seeds of destruction, millions of people with monumental human and material consequences? General Buhari obviously supports, sympathizes, and is attracted to these terrorists and fundamental jihadists. Considering his past comments on Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, etc., as long as send that for Port Market. We are now joined for good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm additional gentry.
Let's hear you.
Truly, when I looked at this Pantami situation, it makes us to see that we are really not serious about fighting terrorism in this country. The government is not serious. To appoint him in the first place, knowing fully well his comments in the past, it's a revelation. So know that this guy has situational issue with the terrorists in the past. So anybody who appointed him, definitely we need to ask serious questions. This government seems to really have an ally with the terrorists, the Boko Haram. So to stick it in there is a serious matter. So everyone, the security architecture need to go to place to work to realize that in the midst of this government, there are people who are interested and who have a lot to do with Boko Haram. I really wish they wake up on time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Messages here. Melody says, while any terrorist was radicalized by Pantami be pardoned because Pantami who radicalized him has repented. What if majority of these terrorists killing us today were radicalized by the past preachings of Pantami? Regarding the security situation in the country, we shouldn't have anyone who has a link to a terrorist group, whether it's new, past or now. The Buhari administration has demonstrated sympathy to terrorist groups ravaging the country. Imagine granting amnesty to Boko Haram members and their lackluster attitude towards the killer herdsmen. Nigeria is a joke. Until we call a spade, we'll keep being stagnant and will not move on as a nation. Bubu may also be sympathetic to Boko Haram. So why will he sack Mr. Pantami? Hashtag Pantami must resign. Unduka sent that in. Ovuru is embarrassed. She's over embarrassed. Vivian Ovuru says, I know I weep for this country with the way things are going. Eukaria says, good morning, Eno. He can be pardoned in the sense that he will not be prosecuted, but he should leave that office with immediate effect as leaders are to influence the led. Eno, it's been a while. Trust you good? Yes, I am. Thank you. I honestly do not know what the hula balu is all about. What were we or are we expecting? This government is a scam, fraudulent, and I'm not surprised. Nothing will change. Pantami will see out his term and nothing will happen. Tunde sent that in. Good morning. Hello?
Good morning, Madam Eno.
Good morning. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Lugaman calling from HA. Yes, on the issue of Issa Pantami, for me, I've not seen anything repentance in him. You see, the tension in this country is too high, and we don't know who is sponsoring all this Boko Haram. The statement he made before show us that he is in support of Boko Haram and the other extremists in this country. And keeping him in the cabinet of Buhari cause for serious concern, and it's a very serious danger. And your guest this morning, you are asking the difference between Nnamdi Kanu issue and the Pantami. And he's telling you another different thing. You know that Nnamdi Kanu, during the issue of NSAS protest, Nnamdi Kanu was ordering his supporters to destroy government facilities. And they're coming to tell me tomorrow that Nnamdi Kanu have repented. What will he say?
Good question. Light says, I know Pantami was appointed in the first place because of his views. No wonder they're watching his back. My greatest shock was when a NAS member said the masses should be blamed for it. Efyong in Rumolumeni, good morning. This man hasn't changed. This government may have integrity but no character. Do they work at Cross? No, Purpose, I don't think so. The man should be sacked or resign immediately. Tito Liano from Rumaholu. If Pantami were to be in the US, he's supposed to have gone to Guantanamo Bay prison a long time ago. Nigerians, wake up. Pantami must resign now. Please, can we release prisoners across the country who have served 20 years? They too have changed. Nsima from One, the position of the federal government on the minister is a clear indication that this government is 100% in support of terrorists. And I'm not surprised, because if the head of government... Okay, well. What is the evidence that Issa Pantami has changed? This government is not serious in fighting terrorism. The major issues Nigerians don't understand is that there's fundamentally no country, and to understand that there is no country, you get everything wrong. You want the president to sack a man for the very same reason he was appointed. Is it only Pantami? What has he done with the NIN? Which data centers have been run in the shadows? How many people who are not Nigerians, as it were, are now on the database? We're Nigerian for. Good morning.
Good morning, Eno.
Good morning.
Yes. In 2009, Umar Farouk Abdulmutalab, remember him?
We're listening.
He was 23 years old when he undertook an attack. They call it the underwear Christmas Day bombing, which is like 12 years ago. Issa or Pantami said he was 20 years old, right? Abdulmutalab is 23. Now, what do? I think we should go beg the U.S. government to release Abdulmutalab, because it's such a long time and he must have repented right now, right? So the views he held sometimes ago, like your guest said, when they said we are sending names for screening, what were they screening for? If it's so long, if you're profiling me, you're profiling everything about me, you're even profiling my parents to know what they were doing before, and all those stuff put together. So why you're profiling me? You're going to profile my parents to know if they have criminal record. At the same time, the same government that sent the profile is now telling me that, oh, this man did this thing how many years ago, so he has repented. So Abdulmutalab too has repented, and lots of people who are serving life imprisonment, like what they call this man, the Reverend that bought somebody in Lagos, Reverend King, and so many of them must have, Reverend King, Goma, all of them, they must have repented. So let's open the prison gate and let them come out.
All right. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. Now that I'm a man, well, perhaps. Joe says your guest not sincere about Nnamdi Kanu and Pantami comparison. Two of them are the same. Kanu is a terrorist disguised to be a freedom fighter. He started by attacking Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Britain, ABC, and progressed religious leaders like Adeboye, Kumuyi, Oyedepo, Reverend Mbaka. He moved further, attacking Yohanese Ndigbo, said his religion is Judo-Christian to worsen the whole issue. He's formed ESN. So what is the difference? The Pantami case, we only watch video clip, but this is what we'll see happening around. Pantami case should be left alone? How do you intend to discourage criminality and devious tendencies when all that one has to do, having been caught in the act of deviousness, is apologize and get rewarded with political offices? No wonder they say Nigeria is a huge criminal enterprise. We're Nigerian for. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is Mr. Henry calling from Port Harcourt.
All right.
Yeah, I think pertaining issue, I think if this man happened to come from the south or the southeast, you would have seen a prompt and a rapid force Mr. President would have used on that person. I think it is high time the people have been airing their view, making their statement that they are not comfortable with Pantami holding that position. I think it is high time the Mr. President has to listen to the plight of the people and begin to act immediately. You and I have heard a lot of awful and obnoxious statements Pantami has made and whatever he has done. Why are you still keeping that man in your cabinet? In a civilized society, but the man will not even hold any position. By now, that they would have taken a rapid action on him. Now the people have been saying, and he doesn't want to, and one of the hallmarks of democracy is listening to the people, the plight of the people. When you refuse to listen to the people, that means it's not democratic system again, become autocratic. So I think it is high time Mr. President should listen to the plight of the people and act immediately.
All right, thank you for calling. There's a message here from Melvin. He says, a reminder to the Southerners, what was the late Don Wani, who was a known kidnapper, cultist, and robber, doing at the burial of a former PDP chieftain in the States, which also had in attendance the former First Lady and a current governor, if there was no connection between him and the above-mentioned persons? Remember, he wasn't just a party crusher. he was given a special seat and recognition. And with all the atrocities and killings, another was rewarded with the title of a king and paramount ruler. So if we all go by the Pantami analogy, all the above-mentioned persons aren't supposed to be holding any political or traditional office. But as usual, we always like and know how to play down on issues like this when it concerns us, because we have the media in the South. Hashtag hypocrisy of the South. But then again, are we going to make this us versus them? Don't we have a real problem here? That a person who has been found to have expressed extremist views is still in government, a government that should be seen as fighting extremism. Well, the conversation continues online at Nigeria Info PH. My name is Enoch Bevire. The news is up now. Afterwards, there are many issues, flying around right now. But as a Nigerian, what is most important to you at this time? We'll talk after the news. Stay tuned.